criteria. And these rules, we have said, they include, of course, the evaluation committee conducting a preliminary evaluation in there before they conduct the real evaluation. And we said the preliminary evaluation is meant, number one, to confirm whether the tender has been submitted in the required format, whether the tender complies with all eligible requirements, whether the tender has been duly signed, whether the tender have been submitted in the required copies, whether the tender is valid for the period required, whether the tender samples have been submitted in case there are any samples that are required, where all required documents and information have been submitted. That is the purpose for a preliminary evaluation. Subject to Section 79, Article 2 of the Act. Any errors in the submitted tender arising from a miscalculation of unit price, quantity, subtotal, and total bid price shall be considered as a major deviation that affects the substance of the tender and shall lead to automatic disqualification of the tender as non-responsive. In case you make any mistake, whether clerical, intentional or unintentional, in the figures, then automatically when reading the tender and we identify or we discover such a mistake, then we shall disqualify such kind of a supplier. We shall not allow him to continue with the bidding process. Another one, a procuring entity shall also reject tenders which are not in conformity with the requirements under Section 79 of the Act. So we have the non-responsiveness of the tender. So the classification of deviation from the requirement as minor, so of course we have said there are some kind of deviation we can refer to them as minor, and there are some which you can refer to as major. One of the major we have said, if like for example you have deviated in the figures, maybe you did not add the total very well, maybe there is a figure that you confused. Remember what is said in procurement. We usually say procurement, even a zero has its own power. Because when you add 1 0, like the Waiguru case, 1 0 can lead the company to suffer huge losses. 100 when you add 1 0 is 1,000. 1,000 when you add 1 0 is 10,000. 10,000 when you add 1 0 is 100,000. 100,000, you can just imagine the power of a zero. So we always don't play with the figure. And any deviation in the figures, we always refer to it think it's just a matter of internet variations. Morejo. What about the rest? Can you be able to hear me? Mark, can you hear me? Jefferson, can you hear me? Okay. Morejo can confirm now that you're hearing me. Eh? So let's continue. You can confirm you're hearing me. Then let's continue up to where we were. We were on the area where we have approval of the accounting officer. Remember, we said the accounting officer is the senior most person. When it comes, he might not be the CEO. It's not compulsory that he might be the CEO. In the ministry, we find in most cases the accounting officer is the PS. In county government, we find the accounting officer may be the procurement officer or the finance manager in county governments. In town, in municipal councils, we might find the town clerk may be hii kitu nani? You still cannot hear me? What about the rest? Can you be able to hear me apart from Yvonne? It may be a problem with the internet. Because I can see my internet is a little bit more stable. Anyone who can hear me, just confirm in the public chat. The rest can be able to hear me. Okay, let's finish. If I think I'm trying to keep one position so that we finish. We are only meaning is a very small section. So you are saying the powers entitled to the accounting officer. He can approve the award of the successful tender. If he's not comfortable, he can seek a clarification from the head of procurement function before rejecting anything. He can also reject any recommendation that has been made. He's a very senior person because he's the one who's going to be answerable to the auditor in case there is an audit query. Where the accounting officer rejects the recommendation, he shall give reasons why he has rejected the recommendation. He also can give any further direction as always recommended by the Act. post-qualification. If the bidder determined is not qualified after due diligence, in accordance with the Act, the tender shall be rejected under